We begin our journey sailing across the winds of time to a golden age of exploration and adventure, to a time when the echoes of cannon fire rang through the salty air and the oceans were roiled by wild spirits seeking fortune, danger, and rebellion. Among these spirits were two women, their names etched in the annals of history as the fearless pirate queens of the high seas, Bonny and Mary Read. Today, we delve deep into their legendary stories, immersing ourselves in a world of lawless liberty, audacious battles, and the indomitable will of these two remarkable women. Bonny, born in Ireland around the year 1700, found herself in the raw and untamed wilderness of the New World as a young girl. Her father, William Cormac, was a lawyer who fled his homeland with Anne and her mother after his affair with the family maid was exposed. They settled in Charleston, South Carolina, where William turned a new leaf as a plantation owner, amassing a sizable wealth over the years. Growing up in the strict confines of the colonial society didn't sit well with the young, fiery-haired Anne. Her rebellious spirit was evident from an early age when she stabbed a servant girl with a knife in a fit of rage. This defiant nature grew only more apparent as she grew older. She would often dress in men's clothing and spend her time in taverns, mingling with sailors and roughnecks, much to her father's dismay. Eventually, Anne's rebellious streak led her to the path of piracy. She fell in love with James Bonny, a pirate, and decided to elope with him to the Bahamas, leaving behind her father's wealth and respectable societal status. However, James Bonny proved to be a disappointment as he betrayed his fellow pirates for money. Anne, who had hoped for a life of adventure, was left disillusioned. In the meantime, the sea's fickle currents were also shaping the destiny of another woman, Mary Read. Born in England around the same time as Anne, Mary was raised as a boy to keep the financial support of her paternal grandmother after her older half-brother died. She kept up this masquerade throughout her youth, serving as a footboy and later enlisting in the British military. While in the military, Mary fell in love with a Flemish soldier. The pair soon married, and Mary, for the first time, lived as a woman. Sadly, her happiness was short-lived as her husband died young. Left with no means to support herself, Mary once again took up male clothing and returned to the military, later turning to piracy. Both women's paths converged in Nassau, the pirates' haven, where Anne had begun a relationship with the infamous pirate Calico Jack Rackham after her husband's betrayal. When Mary, disguised as a man, joined Calico Jack's crew, her secret was discovered by Anne, who was attracted to her thinking she was a man. On learning the truth, both women found common ground and formed a close bond. Anne and Mary were not mere passengers on Calico Jack's ship. They were active participants in the piratical raids, standing shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts in the heat of battle. They were known for their fierce courage, defying the stereotypical gender norms of the time. The pirate queen's reign on the high seas was not to last forever, though. In October 1720, their ship was attacked by pirate hunter Jonathan Barnett, while most of their crew, including Calico Jack, were in a drunken stupor. It was Anne, Mary, and one other crew member who stood their ground, battling ferociously. But the odds were against them, and they were eventually captured. After their capture, the pirate queens were taken to Jamaica to stand trial. Both were found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. However, they were both pregnant, and their executions were postponed. Mary died in prison, most likely from a fever, while Anne's fate remains a mystery. There are claims that her father paid a ransom to free her, and she lived the rest of her life quietly in South Carolina. The stories of Bonny and Mary Read embody a spirit of rebellion and a refusal to be confined by societal norms. They dared to dream of freedom and adventure in a time when women were expected to be submissive and obedient. Their tales remind us that the call of the sea does not differentiate based on gender. It draws in those with a lust for life, a thirst for freedom, and a heart brave enough to challenge the world's tumultuous waves. These women were not just pirates, they were symbols of defiance, warriors in petticoats who left an indelible mark on the pages of history. Their legends continue to inspire, captivating the hearts of those who hear their stories, proving that bravery, determination, and the pursuit of freedom are not the sole prerogative of any single gender. Today, the echoes of their laughter, the roars of their cannons, and the fearless beats of their pirate hearts still resound across the high seas, woven into the very fabric of the ocean's eternal, mesmerizing song.